What's going on, everyone? So, according to Brett Siegel, the Portland Trailblazers are expected to move Deandre Ayton at some point. So, what he said verbatim is the Portland Trailblazers are expected to eventually trade Deandre Ayton, per Brett Siegel. At some point, the Blazers and Ayton are expected to part ways, sources said, yet the former first overall pick doesn't command a market at this time. People are very reluctant to trade for Deandre Ayton, which I understand, right? I mean, he doesn't have the best history, particularly with coaches and locker rooms and attitude, right? He's a guy that it's very disappointing. It's a big letdown because he just has all the potential in the world. Like he should be in the conversation for like top 5 center in the league. He has all the tools. Right? He can do basically everything on the basketball court that you want from a center. Stretch the floor a little bit, right? Defend a little bit around the rim. He's not like elite, but he can hold his own, right? Operate in the mid-range, dump the ball down to, go to work, make plays. Like the guy has shown the ability to do a little bit of everything, right? He just cannot stay out of his own way. The guy just can't stay out of his own way. And that's a big problem. If he could just learn to just take a step back, let things unfold. I mean, he looked great towards the end of that season. Last year, I mean, the last like 10 games or whatever it was, like he was just tearing it up. He is easily a 20-10 guy. And Portland's going to have to trade him at some point, right? They got him, they got Robert Williams, and they got now Donovan Cleaty, right? So at some point you're going to have, because you can't, like Cleaty can't play the power forward, Ayton can't play, like both guys are a center, and you know, Time Lord is definitely a center, right? Robert Williams is definitely a center. So, to me, if the Lakers could make a play on Ayton, I am all for it, right? In my opinion, the risk could potentially outweigh the reward, right? Or the reward could potentially outweigh the risk. Sorry, reverse that. Because I think Ayton needs proper structure. I think he needs people that he respects. I think he needs people that can really kind of get on him, right? And I think that the Lakers have that. You know, you got LeBron James, you got Anthony Davis, right? JJ Redick is known to not take no nothing from anybody, right? And I think the Lakers would have enough just stability to get Ayton focused and driven, right? And it'd be kind of one of those things like, dude, you could be the franchise cornerstone for the Lakers. He just turned 26, right? It's like, dude, you have LeBron and AD, right? LeBron is only going to play for another year or two, and then it's you and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is going to ride off into the sunset, and then it's just you, right? Like, but you got to get your stuff together. Right? You really sell the dream to the kid. Like, dude, you could go from being on Portland to being a Laker, being the franchise cornerstone at center for the Lakers. Right? Again, if he could just get out of his own way, I'd love it. Problem is contract, right? He's making $34 million this year, $35 million next. And then he's a unrestricted free agent. Now, his production and his, just behind the scenes antics, right, he's overpaid. He just is, right? If he could really reach his potential and be that bona fide 2010 guy and give you some block shots and, make play, do a little bit of everything, right? Be that real dominant center we've seen him be able to be, then I think he's actually fair value, right? Like, if he could show that he's legit a top 10 center, then I think he's fair value, right? It'd be a risk. It would. It'd be a real risk. But I don't hate the idea. I'm not going to lie. Like, I would rather get, like, Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams, right? I'd rather get Time Lord. Just the problem with him is just his injury history, right? But if I had, like, my choice, I would rather have Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams because it just kind of fits more what we need. Or even just Robert Williams because you just trade for him. He's cheap enough, right? But if you wanted that young, upside, all-star level guy that could come in, play a role, give you that center spot, match up against the Jokic and the Embiids of the world, the Zach Edey's, like, Ayton fits that perfectly. Right? Like, he could play that role perfectly. Him and Anthony Davis as a duo down low would just be, it'd be excellent. I think it'd be A1, like, legitimately. But can he get out of his own way? Can he come in? Can he buy in? Can he accept the role that is given to him? Right? Is he okay with nights where, he gets 15 attempts, and is he okay with nights where he gets 8? And it's like, hey, we need you to, lock in. Reeves is shooting the lights out, man. We need to get him the basketball. Or is he one of those guys that's pushing back against the coach and causing problems in the locker room and, getting into it with players and stuff? Right? Like, you saw what Chris Paul and him were able to do together. Like, that duo was great. Imagine what LeBron and Ayton could do together. Right? Imagine what LeBron and Ayton could do with Anthony Davis on the side of him. I mean, defensively, offense, it would just be so versatile. Right? Like, if you told me tomorrow the Lakers traded for Ayton, I would be stoked. I'd be pumped. Like, let's go. Because I do think that the guy that we would need him to be is in there, right? The potential all-star level center who's still young enough to where we could have for the next 7 years. He's there. He's in there. Can the Lakers maximize and get that out of him? I think if anyone was suited for that, it is the Lakers, because of LeBron James and because of Anthony Davis and because of JJ Redick, who, again, he's not going to take no smack. The problem is if it doesn't work out, you're probably stuck with him. But I would imagine you wouldn't have to sell the farm to get 8, right? I don't think it would cost you 2 firsts or anything. You might be able to get him pretty cheap because his value is so low, right? And, like, no one really wants him. Because, 1, how many teams need a center? 2, how many teams want a center that's making $35 million? And 3, how many people want Ayton with all his hay-nubs? Right? Like, the Lakers are kind of in the position where it's like, you need a center. The $35 million, you're probably going to have to take on salary regardless, right, to go get a guy. And then you get the youthful center, and you have, in my opinion, the pieces around him to really get him focused and bought in. Right? You get the guys around him. Where Chris Paul, like, some people, I can imagine, probably like, well, if Chris Paul couldn't get him, like, Chris Paul is an a-hole, though. Like, he's been known that his entire career. Chris Paul is known as a guy that just, people don't like him, right? Like, it's been his thing, like, his entire career, right? That some people just don't like him, right? Because he's that competitor, right? He can be that a-hole, that high-intense guy. LeBron, everyone's loved him, right? People always talk about how goofy he is. Like, you know when he's serious and you know when it's time to, like, listen, but he's not an a-hole, right? He's a nice guy. He's a great guy. He's fun to be around, right? Like, some people just respond better to that. Some people just respond better to, like, hey, dude, like, come on. Rather than, what are you doing? Like, you look at you, like, like, some people just respond better to the, hey, like, we need you, man. You're a big part, right? Like, we're not doing this thing without you. We need you to focus, right? Like, sometimes that can go a long way. And, it would just be a big risk, because, again, it's like, if it doesn't work out, right, he continues to kind of get in his own way or injuries or whatever, like, you're stuck. You're probably not going to be able to trade him. But if it works out, you got your center for the future. And you got a legit, like, guy that, especially if he can, even right now, he's like a 17-10 guy, right? Like, so think in the right situation along LeBron James and Anthony Davis and all the attention that they draw, that Ayton can't go get you, an extra 3+ points. I think he can, right? Like, so, again, you're talking about a legit 2010 guy that you'd be adding to the team that help with rebounding, that help with size, that help with everything. Right? He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. So I think if the problem is like, it doesn't appear that he's on the table right now. Now, you never know, right? Like, yeah, Portland gets the right deal, right? This is probably something in like a year or so, right? It's probably one of those things where next year you'll probably hear a bunch of like, hey, Blazers are shopping Ayton, Blazers are trying to trade Ayton, but that doesn't mean you can't get him this year. I'm sure if Portland, found a deal that they were happy with, they'd probably move him. It's just like the report said, it's like Brett Siegel said, like there's just not really this huge market for him. Teams aren't rushing and stumbling over themselves, which again, he's the guy that teams should be, right? Like he was like, it wasn't that long ago that this was a guy that people were like, man, he could potentially be, one of the best centers, if not the best center in the league, right? Like it wasn't that long ago. And he just has gone just straight down like at light speed rate because, again, he just can't get out of his own way. And it's frustrating because he just has so much talent. And you hate to see it, right? You hate to see a guy with the talent that he has and the abilities that he has and where he should be ranked as far as centers go currently in the NBA. And it's just like, dude, like you just can't. It's just people are their own worst enemy. And he really is. He's his own worst enemy. But I think the Lakers could get him to buy it. I think the Lakers could get him honed in, focused, and I think you'd have like a real cornerstone on your mitts, right? My biggest concern would be probably post LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? When he now kind of gets the keys, right? Now is he able to kind of fit in, or does he kind of get that ego like, oh, I'm the guy, this is my team, like, and it's just, I don't know, it'd be kind of interesting to see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of bringing in Ayton if he becomes available, or if he is available? Do you think no, stay away from him? The risk isn't worth the reward, right? Or do you think no, like the reward really is worth the risk, right? You get him, you got your center of the future. He's got incredible upside still, right? We know he can get back to being that 20 and 10 guy. Was that not that long ago? Right? Again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.